can think about is D-Luke.
There's a strange monster in your wolfendom.
Gosh. Think about is D-Luke.
Haven't you heard? There's a strange wanderer near Wolfendom.
Gosh, all I can think about is D-Luke.
Rebooting.
Everything's in place and they've taken the bait. Yes. Now to start reeling them in.
Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
Moon pie. That's what I'll make tonight.
Haven't you heard?
I have to stifle a smile every time I remember the look on my retainers' faces when I informed them of my plans today. Panic-stricken, but unable to muster the courage to say anything in opposition. Yes, this was a fine idea.
Hey everyone, it's been a while. Sorry I'm a little bit late, had to install a few updates
Busy recently.
for Genshin and for Windows.
Come take
Kinda
There will
put me in a tough spot there, so I was a little bit late, sorry about that. But yeah, today we're just gonna have chill Thursday stream. Just gonna have a few hopefully fun commissions to do. Maybe we'll jump back to Sumeru's story later on. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys doing well. Sorry if my voice is a little bit like strange. It's just a little bit sick.
Everybody stand back!
Nothing too serious, but haven't been feeling the best lately. I hope y'all doing pretty good, at least. It's almost the end of the week. Friday tomorrow, so hopefully you all have something fun planned to do.
There is no escape!
Be still.
Shine down!
I see everything.
Not sure if I got anything new Genshin wise.
Today's recommendation.
I didn't really do much. I tried to just complete daily commissions daily,
Add Astra.
and that was kinda it. so I'm pretty sure you didn't miss much. I'm still planning on completing Sumeru's story, hopefully on the stream at some point.
Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
Mondstadt welcomes you.
Oh yeah, also, Nahida's banner is soon leaving. I hope if any of you did summon for her, it went well. I'm pretty sure she goes off like in a day or so, right? Yeah, less than a day. So I hope you all at least got some banners out of her. Unless you already have him at C5. Feel free to ask me any questions if you have any. I'll be more than happy to answer if I can.
Yeah! Illusion shut! Everyone hold hands! Now you shall perish! Shine down!
The depths beckon.
Oh yeah, also guys, just to let you know, in case you are curious, lately I've been kind of thinking about either... I'm not 100% sure yet if I'm gonna do it yet, but I was kind of thinking of commissioning someone to like make a like live 2D model for either Zhao or like just in general like a new one. Just because I thought it would be much more appealing to look at than the little like loop of Zhao waving on streams. Because I might start uploading like streams on different games as well. I was kind of contemplating if I should do it, because like doing the same thing every single day for Genshin would be kind of boring after a while, considering there's not much to do after like I complete the story. Because I don't think you guys want to just watch me do like daily commissions every single day. That would be kind of unfair to you. Or I also was considering of just getting like a webcam maybe. Because like since I have my setup ready, all I really need is maybe get like a second monitor really, just so I can make sure that nothing goes up in flames. But yeah, that was kind of my ideas for the future. Since I'm probably gonna get paid soon from my work, so I was kind of considering. So I was looking at like different price options for like 2D models, because like the webcam wise I can get one pretty cheap I think, for about like 70 bucks or something, and live 2D model probably will be more expensive, because it's not like I'm shy or anything of camera, it's just, I don't know, it might be more appealing for you guys to look at like a pretty character rather than just my mag all day long, since I'm planning to like start streaming more frequently, maybe like 2-3 hours every single day, since I was just kind of getting my feet wet, if you will, for the past few live streams, just to see if I actually like doing it. And honestly, so far, it's been pretty fun. I met some of the cool people so far. And I think it would be quite fun to start doing it more frequently.
Illusion shattered.
Because, like, I don't know if you guys watch my actual videos, but lately I haven't been feeling the most creative ever. So, simply because there's not much new stuff to talk about. So I kind of felt like doing more of live streams, since I think it would be more, I guess, fun for everyone. And it will make me, like, I guess, more creative. Because so far I've been trying to, like, have a consistent upload schedule of, like, one video a day, or at least, like, upload something once a day. Mostly for, like, YouTube algorithm, if anything, just so my videos actually, like, go out there, so people actually find them, because it's pretty hard.
Be still.
But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts so far about it. It's not doing YouTube for, like, only 2 months. I'm not, like, the most knowledgeable about it. But I did realize that, like, consistent upload schedule kind of makes it a little bit more appealing, I guess, in YouTube algorithm eyes. Because they're more likely to recommend your videos. Hey Greg, I'm just kind of rambling about what I want to do in the future. You're free to join or just give me your any thoughts. So just to catch you up in case you missed it, basically I was kind of thinking about either starting, like, to commission a 2D live model for, like, streaming, or start doing, like, a webcam type of scenario when I get paid finally, and just, like, get one of the two. I'm still kind of on the fence about which one should I do. Because on one hand, like, if I just get a 2D model, it's gonna make my life easier, because then I don't need to worry about, like, looking good for the camera. Because, like, right now, I'm just sitting in my pajamas, pretty much. But if I'm gonna start streaming for real, I will need to actually dress up and everything, just so it's not unpleasant to look at. Kinda on the fence about that. I'm not even paying attention to the boss, I'm kinda zoning out a little bit. Probably should heal. But yeah, that was kinda my thoughts so far. So I do plan to start streaming more.
Shattered. I see everything. Brilliant. Off we go.
Probably should focus on this boss fight because I've been kind of zoning out.
Adventure time. Commit to memory. The Temple of Wisdom. Let's light it up. Hey. Let's make her look proud. Absurd.
Alright, we got that. Oh, no worries, Greg. I mean,
Clear skies can do nothing to hide the brilliance of light.
I'm just rambling just to make it boring, you know?
Strike even in the absence
Because I know
of
that
light.
watching the same boss fights might be a
see
bit
that
boring
tree?
for you guys. So I'm just trying to, like,
Wait,
ramble for a
you
little bit.
understand?
Just so it's a little bit more fun for you.
Demonstration is not required.
But yeah, if you guys don't want to, like, type in chat, it's personally fine with me. Like, I just want you to, like, chill, have fun with me. And if you have something to say, you, like, feel free. But if not, just feel free to, like, zone out, do something else while I ramble about stuff. It's perfectly cool with me.
But human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water.
I mostly stream to, like, zone out myself. Because, like, I obviously work every single day, except, like, weekends, like everyone else, really. So, I just use, like, whenever I make videos or, like, stream, I just kind of use it to, like, load off my mind and, like, just ramble, really. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't have too tough of a week. I mean, probably rough for everyone, whether you have, like, school, uni, or work itself. I hope it's not too harsh on you. And if it is, then just try to, like, not think too much about it. I mean, it's weekend soon, so hopefully you'll have some free time on your hands to do what you like play some games maybe, or read some manga. I've been reading quite a lot recently. I just go back into it. I haven't been reading that much, but just go into it. Oh, hey, Dragon. Hope you have a good day. Or evening, I guess, depending on where you are. But yeah, just go back recently into, like, reading manga and manhwa. Like, Korean-style manga, which is colored. Since I haven't been reading, like, awfully a lot. I used to read a lot, but not anymore. Oh, just give me a sec, guys. Some spam stuff. I'll need to deal with it. Sorry about that. I just had to strike a mute hammer on someone. But yeah, so as I was saying, go recently back into manhwa and, like, manga. Haven't been reading much, but I just have been, like, so don't do what I'm doing, but basically at my work I have, like, a desk job, but it's mostly, like, I have a lot of free time on my hands. So what I usually do is either think about, like, ideas or just, like, read something on my phone while my boss is not looking. Don't do it. Like, my personal advice wouldn't be to not do it unless you're confident that you won't get caught. But basically, I've just been reading, like, when I have nothing else to do, some manga on the side. And I just caught up recently on, like, there's this manga called Illicit, which used to be one of my favorites, and it's basically about, like, this teenage Korean high school kid who, like, basically has a phobia of his power. It's like a fantasy type of manhwa, but it's in a modern world. And there's these people called Awakenings, and basically what they are is, like, superheroes, but with more cool powers. And basically the main character has, like, a superpower of being extremely fast. But the problem with that is that he doesn't know that there are other people like him. So he feels like he's a freak, and he doesn't want anyone to know that he has powers. So he tries his best to, like, avoid using it as much as possible. Until, like, one day he discovers that he's not alone, and there's, like, other people like him. And he basically decides to, like, step into this world of, like, people with the same powers as him. And the main selling point of this manhwa is that he basically gets into this world by rescuing one of the strongest awakeners in that world, who, because he was hunted, got transformed into a cat because he was, like, on the brink of dying. So he transfigured himself into a cat, and it's really funny manhwa. If you haven't read it before, it's called Illicit, as I said. You should probably give it a read. It has like, I think 200 chapters or so, and I'm pretty sure you can find them for free online. But it's super like funny, first of all, which I like. It's super intriguing, like the plot-wise, because usually a lot of mangas and manhwas fall short on like plot, especially if they are power fantasies. But this one has a lot of like depth to it, surprisingly, like you wouldn't expect. And it also has really cool characters. Like every single character is very unique, and they have their like, I guess, unique points and like personality, which is very rare, because like there's not a single character in the entire series that is the same as somebody else, which I personally find really cool, because I'm really used to like, I used to read like those cheap knockoff Chinese manhwas, which are basically about like cultivation, and I used to read them like every single day, and I got so used to it that I pretty much just haven't stopped like not paying attention to the story at all. I would just read it for like cool fights, because that's what I liked. And at a certain point I just forgot which one I read already, so sometimes I will read the same manhwa like multiple times, just because they all look the same and they all have the same story, so they're extremely forgettable. So it's always nice to find something that's like at least somewhat unique. Like I'm not a snob when it comes to manga or manhwa, or like anime in general, but I do like a cool like story plot that is at least a little bit unique, because it makes me feel like I'm actually not wasting my time and reading something worthwhile, if that makes sense. But yeah, as I say, Illicit was, I think, one of the first manhwas in the past maybe 2-3 years that I actually actively read like every single chapter. I would wait every single week for like a new chapter, which I never do, because like I'm extremely impatient, so I would never actually start reading something that I actually care about and know that it's not full, because then I have like a extreme curiosity syndrome, if you will. So I start thinking obsessively about it if I really enjoy the story, and I won't calm down until I find out like if there's a cool fight and it like ends halfway through. I pretty much will think the entire week about the fight until it's actually published, and it's a real problem that I have. That's why I usually just either wait until the entire manhwa is released, or like watch a review or something, and just find if I actually like it before I read it. Except for those that I actually don't care about, because then I just, if I read like 2-3 chapters and I feel like it's a waste of time, at least nowadays, maybe not when I was a little bit younger, but nowadays, since I don't have a lot of time, I like read 2-3, maybe 10 sometimes, depending on how short it is, chapters, and if I think it's not worth my time, I just drop it immediately, unless it has like a really cool plot to it. Maybe it has like a really cool character that I like, or like a very interesting power dynamic. Like sometimes, since I'm a power like ranking junkie, I love isekais, I love like cultivation manhwas, I love all of it. I'm not like the big into romance or like adventure or like detective type stuff, but I love cool fights, which pretty much just means I don't have a good taste, and I accepted it. But I just like to switch my brain off when I read something or like play something, and not think about what I'm doing, if that makes sense. So for most of my like gaming or reading or like watching something, I never watch something or read or play where I need to think, if that makes sense. I know it sounds bad, like it's not like I have deficiency of attention or anything like that, it's just I don't really like to have my free time as a chore, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if I need to think about something really actively, it makes me feel less like I'm doing it for enjoyment. And it's not always the case, but it's like, for example, one of the first animes I ever watched was Death Note. And Death Note is not like the most brainstorming anime ever, but you kind of need to pay attention and kind of think about what's actually going on in the plot. Otherwise, you're not really gonna be up to speed, and you're gonna miss like key factors.
Let's take shelter for the time being.
So for me, usually how I approach those types of media is I try to either break it down in the sense of I like watch one chunk and I just like drop it for the day, and I watch the other half of like whether it's anime, book, whatever, the other day when I have like more brain power to spare. Because I would usually do it at night as well, and it's like when I'm tired. So I'm really not into thinking like deeply about stuff, especially at night. So I would break it down, right? And I would try to either make sure that what I'm reading I actually pay attention. So like let's say the way I watched Death Note was I would watch like 5 to 10 minutes and I would take a break, like 20 to 30 minutes break, just to make sure I actually understood what I watched. And afterwards I would just continue watching it like that. Sometimes I wouldn't do that, but if you're somebody like me, I would recommend to not just like watch something you don't actually want to pay attention to. At least not when you're like tired or anything. Because that's gonna ruin the show or game or any media for you, really. Because I had that issue with... what was the show? I forgot the name. It was... I'll use just Full Metal Alchemist as an example. So you know, like, Full Metal Alchemist has a really deep plot to it. And, like, you really need to watch not just anime, you kind of need to actually explore the lore a bit more if you want to understand it. And I spent, like, at least 3 hours whenever I would watch, like, an episode just to watch, like, either lore videos or like read up on it myself, and I felt exceptionally exhausted afterwards. I would like pretty much just feel like I did a full day's of work after watching like 10 episodes or so. And maybe it's my just issue because I kind of try to look too deep into stuff that I actually like, because I want to understand everything there is to understand about it. Oh hey, commentating Joe. Sorry guys, I was just kind of rambling about my own stuff. I'll try to pay attention to chat every now and again. I was just kind of in the middle of talking about something, but yeah. As I was saying, basically, just think of it as my brain power has a limit, like it has a certain cap, and I can't go over it in a day. Otherwise I feel like crap for the rest of it. So I try to... When there's like a piece of media that I really enjoy, for example, I really enjoy certain games, like God of War, for example, and I try to play them when I actually have a lot of free time. I never try to read or play stuff that I actually like a lot when I'm in a bad mood or like not very energetic, if that makes sense, because it's just gonna ruin it for me, and that's not what I want to do with stuff that I actually enjoy. So what I try to do when I'm not in a good mood is actually do stuff that I don't like. So then when I have a good mood, I do stuff that I like, and that way I never have to worry about actually needing to do stuff that I don't like. So for example, when I'm in a bad mood, I usually just do chores, like washing up or like washing dishes, whatever, like vacuuming. just because I'm already in a bad mood, so there's no point, like, making it better. I might as well just get over it. That's kind of my philosophy in life. If I don't have good time, might as well make it worse, you know? Because it's not gonna get better, most likely. But at least when it is good, it's not gonna get better. I mean, worse. So it's kind of how I try to cope with bad things, in a way, if you were interested. And how I try to make good things even better. It's not a good approach. I'm not saying it is, but it's an approach that I kind of force myself into. But in case you are guys interested in what I've been reading lately, so the last piece of like manhwa I read was this manhwa called Transformation King, I think. Yeah, it was like Transformation King, and it was basically like a manhwa about cultivation of like one of those Chinese worlds. I assume it was, but mixed with like all the ancient western parts. It's basically like split into kingdoms, and there's this royalty type stuff going on where like power ranking is decided by like there's like king level, there's duke, there's landlords, there's generals and stuff like that. So basically like standard stuff. But instead of cultivation, it's like magic type of stuff, where like every single character has like this node inside their body, which corresponds to their like power in a sense. So they have like different elements imbued into them. Like think of any cultivation manga you ever read, but think of it as in magic, and that's kind of how it works. They kind of like upgrade their own power through like artifacts and stuff like that. And the only reason why I read it was because it had a really pretty art style, and I'm a sucker for like really pretty pictures. That's why I love Genshin so much. But yeah, I kind of read it, and I think it has like 70 chapters or so. And it's basically this character who was born with no like power in a sense. But he was born with like the ability to withhold like 3 of those attributes, if you will, inside his body. But he had been born without none, so all of them were hollow. And usually in that world, when you like 10, you would get your attributes. Like you start with 1, and then as soon as you progress in rankings, you can unlock more power. Or it's a complete opposite, when the main character starts so disgustingly strong that pretty much nobody can ever do anything to him. And personally, I kind of prefer the first one, just because when character is so strong that nobody can do anything to him, it kind of becomes boring much quicker to me, because they can't lose. Like main characters never lose, and if they do lose, it's usually not something important. It's usually like a scuffle or anything like that. Probably like get beat by a girl or something. That's why I kind of like from like dirt, when they start from nothing. Because at least then, I kind of know that there might be something unexpected that I'm not aware of. Because some manhwas actually do make it quite interesting, and not just make it where the character just gets like a cheat power. Sometimes I actually put some thought into it and make it at least somewhat believable. Because I read a lot of those types of manhwas and mangas. I read probably over 100 different like titles in the past 4 years. Ever since I was 18, I guess I've been paying attention to those types of manhwas. And I think I probably only remember maybe like 5 I don't think I remember more than that. Simply because they're all the same, so I kind of blend them all together. And there's no single difference between them to me. Like, probably the only one that I remember, like, really good is the manhwa called Marshall Peak. Like, Peak. And the reason for that is because it has almost 3,000 chapters. So I think it's one of the biggest manhwas available. I can't think of any other that has like more chapters to it. Because the other one that I know only has about 1,000. Probably, because like there's this manga called, I think, what was it called? I think it was something Apostle. And I think it has at least 800 chapters the last time I looked. But usually the way those Chinese manhwas work is that they're exceptionally short. So when you take into consideration their length, they're not really the amount of chapters that they say they are. They're usually at least twice as short as any like Korean manhwas. So those 2,000 chapters are more like, I don't know, maybe like 500 when you think about it. Because a lot of those Chinese manhwas just don't have enough budget to make them like weekly. So the way they cheat the system is they make like 2 or 3 chapters every single week and just don't spend as much money on publishing them into publications to make money. Because I'm pretty sure that in order to publish like manhwa, you actually need to spend quite a bit of money, and the more chapters you publish, I think the cheaper it gets. At least that's how it works for manga. I'm not exactly sure for like Korean ones or Chinese ones. But it's probably the same. I mean, I can't imagine there's too much of a difference. And the only reason why I know that is because at one point I was kind of considering doing like dubs. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I started like doing YouTube by making dubs of like manhwas that I liked. But I privatized them because I received like a copyright strike once for one of them, and I was like, it's not really worth the risk of like getting my channel demonetized completely in the future in case I do decide to do like YouTube for real. Like seriously, because now I just do it as a hobby. But if it works out in the future, I mean, I don't want to kind of risk it just because I did some, you know, stuff at the beginning. And it wasn't even like I blatantly like ripped off the manhwas that I was reading. It was more of I think they just had issue with distributors, because I don't think I used the official like translation. I kind of used like a fan-made translation. But yeah, since I was interested in like dubbing, because I thought I would do it for my actual job in the future, ever since I was young, because I was always interested in like voice acting. So I kind of read about the industry a lot, and I kind of realized that it's not as easy as you think to actually make manhwa or manga, because like they usually have really, really tight deadlines, so they need to make at least 2 to 3 chapters every single week, just so they have like actual stuff beforehand in case somebody like gets ill or like specific company decides to like start uploading more. So usually they have at least 5 chapters or so in like backlog, just in case they do need them, because no single company ever does it like every single week. They usually have like multiple we call them series, so they need to work like ahead of time in a lot of cases, because usually every single company has at least 5 to 10 different titles that they work on, and they don't usually have enough like stuff to actually make it on a daily basis. So usually they just like pull all their best stuff on a specific series. For example, like usually every single company has 1 or 2 hits that they're like really focusing on, and they put all their like newer staff members to like make kind of like gray area type series that they're not sure if they're gonna work or not. So a lot of manhwas from like even famous publishers is not always the best, because sometimes like the plot or the art or like the pacing in the companies that I personally enjoy was off a lot of the times, and at first I wasn't sure why, but when you look into it, it's kind of becomes more apparent. They just don't have enough time and money to actually produce like hits every single time, so they try out new stuff with like less guarantee of success. Plus, you also don't make a lot of money by making manhwas, because I'm pretty sure only like top 1% or so actually make like a decent amount on it. But every other ones, the main way they make money is like publications, and usually people don't buy them anyway. Oh yeah, Dragon, have a nice night. Let's see, go another 40. I guess I'll just do ley lines today just so I have time to talk about stuff. But yeah, as I was saying, basically, I think I read somewhere that like for one chapter of every single manhwa, the company usually spends at least anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. And I'm pretty sure they make only around like, if they're really, really good, they only make around 20 to 30k on it. So like, in order to make actual profit, companies usually like just try to make as many titles as they can and just bank on 1 or 2 actually go like viral. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with like Bleach. When Bleach first got released, it wasn't actually the main publication, I think. I think it was just like a trial version, because I'm pretty sure the creator of Bleach actually was focusing on other stuff, and then when Bleach actually blew up, they kind of focused the entire attention of the entire crew of the studio on Bleach directly, and I'm pretty sure that's how most manhwas nowadays work. Maybe not on like exact same scale, because nowadays they probably have more like templates. That's another thing, a lot of those companies actually use templates to like minimize the amount of work that they actually need to do. So when you think about it, look at it from perspective of there's a main character, and that main character has certain emotions most of the time when you make manhwas. So what actual creators of manhwas do, they create those templates and they kind of reuse them every single time by making a few tweaks here and there, which makes it less seamless, but also saves a lot of time and effort to actually redraw every single panel. So they make it exceptionally easy on actual illustrators to do it every single day. If it's a small studio. If it's a bigger studio, they don't really care about that stuff that much. I mean, it still saves them a lot of money to not actually spend as much resources as they would need to. Because I think illustrators get paid per like panel. Like they make panels, and I think they get paid like only like $5 per panel if they're really good. And if they're not, they get paid like maybe 2 or so. And every single chapter has like, I don't know, usually it's between 2 and 4 per page. So it would be, I guess, around let's say it's 10 pages or like 20. They would make like maybe $100 per single like chapter that they make. And if they make like one chapter a day, it's not the worst salary ever, but like usually that's not the case because it's not one person who's doing it. It's usually at least like a team of 3 to 4 people. So when you split that between like 3 to 4 people, it's actually not that much when you think about it. So yeah, if you are an illustrator, your best bet is actually to make your own art somehow, instead of going for like a big company. Because artists unfortunately are not being treated that well in like big corporations.
Thank you for
Unless you're like really, really good, because then I guess it's preferential treatment type of stuff. But I guess it's anywhere really. If you're good, you get treated better in whatever you do. Unfortunately, as it stands. Because like I was struggling quite a bit of actually finding my first like proper job as well. Even though I did go to like college and I got like a really good degree in like business, I still had issues with finding something just because I lacked experience. And that's unfortunately for everyone like that. No matter how actually smart you are or how good you are, unless you actually have a chance to prove it, they actually can do it, people usually don't believe you, unfortunately. That's a shame. Mostly just because that's a lot of old people who just don't really trust if you say you can do it. They actually want to know that you can do it. Because like the catch-22 of getting a job is you need experience. But in order to get an experience, you need to work. And how do you get work without experience? Well, you can't. And that's a short end of it. That's why most people usually start like just regular jobs, like in like supermarkets or whatever, or retail. Where's this trace? I'm really feeling dumb about it. Like, there's nothing making me feel more stupid than these weekly like bosses in Mondstadt. Oh, there it is. Alright. Okay, that should be all. But yeah, as I was saying, like my best advice personally would be from someone that not the most experienced. Okay, I mean, I'm only 22, so take it with a grain of salt coming from me. But if you are thinking about like what you want to do in the future, personally I would suggest to just try out what you're actually good at first, and not to actually worry what you want to do.
Adventure time.
So you never know, like you don't actually risk anything by trying. And if you don't succeed at it, at least you tried, you know? Because you can't succeed unless you try. So
Overestimated myself. The depths beckon.
Torn to oblivion. Shine down.
for example, I'm extremely passionate about games and like nerdy stuff in general. That's why I kind of started doing YouTube as a hobby, because at least it gives me something to like unleash my full creativity on, even if it's not like the most amazing way to do it, but at least it gives me something to do in my spare time and makes me like at least somewhat motivated of not actually like just going back home and doing nothing. And also just you guys just find something as well that at least somewhat motivates you. Like it could be anything real. Like for example, if you enjoy, I don't know, writing stories, right? Let's say you're really passionate about writing. I would just like make like short chapters of either like short stories or novels or even manga. Like you can just take existing pieces of fiction or non-fiction if you're into that, and just kind of rewrite them in your own way. I think that would actually benefit you quite greatly, both as a writer, and it also would expand your horizon, because you'll understand how actual pieces of literature work, how stories structured. Because like personally, I'm somewhat passionate about writing as well, and the way I would usually do it, like when I was in college, I would have to write a lot of essays, and the way I would do it, I would never look at like other people's work. I would just do it by myself, because I really like the idea of exploring and like finding out answers for myself. So I would like sit down for one evening and just blast through it every single time. Even though it wasn't like the most fun thing ever, but it kind of made me realize that I'm actually pretty good at it.
Be still.
And I think that's what people struggle with. They don't know what they're good at, so they kind of just afraid of trying other things because they don't want to fail. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to fail either if I knew that like I didn't have chance of doing something. For example, like I enjoy music, right? And I would like to be a singer, but like I realize that like I don't have, well, I mean, it's arguable, I guess, but I don't think I have enough talent personally to actually become a singer. So I kind of try just to find something I'm good at and expand on it. And that's not to say if you like something and you're not good at it, you shouldn't pursue it. That's not the case at all. It's just you kind of have to evaluate what you're good at and what you're not good at, and just kind of come to a middle point of realizing, for example, if you are good at drawing, right? But you're not really good at drawing like humans, you might start drawing like sceneries or animals or something that unleashes your full talent.
Illusion shattered.
Cascade.
Because you gotta start somewhere, really. And unless you try to improve every single time, you're not really gonna develop. Because every single thing you do, you probably can get better at it. Unless it like requires natural born talent. Because like you can't really get like let's use like running for example. You can get better at running, but like you probably can't outrun someone like Usain Bolt who has like natural born talent, no matter how hard you try. But you can get good at running to the point where like at least you can get close. And it's kind of the same for everything really in life. As long as you actually put effort, time, and a little bit of dedication, really, you can develop talent. Because, like, even if you're exceptionally talented, even if you're, like, one of the best, let's use singing as an example again, singers in the world, unless you actually show people that you're good at it, and, like, get a chance to showcase it to the world, the chances are you probably won't be able to fully realize your potential and actually use it to your advantage. Well, Greg, personally, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that you have to have talent to actually do something. This is not really the case. Like, even if you don't have talent, you probably can just get by with enough dedication, because, like, the most famous people in the world, they're not necessarily more talented than you. They probably just either had more time of doing it and just have more experience, or they just got lucky. And luck is kind of part of the... Luck is kind of part of the journey, really. Because, like, luck could be one of the two things. Either you make your own luck with enough patience and dedication, or you actually get lucky. And in order to get lucky, you probably should have enough experience or knowledge about what you're doing. Because, like, it's exceptionally rare to just get lucky, you know, without actually knowing what you're doing. Like, it does happen, I'm not saying it can happen, but most of the time, luck is more of a effort multiplied by the amount of time you spend on doing something. Because, like, most people perceive luck as just something that happens out of the blue. And I personally don't see it that way. Because, to me, if you get lucky, like, let's say tomorrow you win a lottery, right? Chances are you probably did something in order to get there. Like, you probably read, like, what's the best lottery to go for? What's chances of winning? Like, you did at least somewhat of research. And I think that's what actually matters. Because, like, I know it's a cliche phrase, but I kind of like using, which is, it's not about the end destination, it's about the journey. And it's kind of true, in my opinion, because if you get something and you never worked for it, the chances are it's not gonna last, because either you're just gonna get so overwhelmed by sudden success that you're not gonna know what to do with it, and you're probably gonna either start feeling depressed about it, you're gonna start feeling like you're a fraud, a fake, there's someone that shouldn't be in that position, or you're gonna get so extremely arrogant that you're just not gonna actually listen to other people, what they're trying to tell you, how to improve, and just gonna get so deep inside your head that it's gonna make you feel like the worst human being ever. And I've definitely been there, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking like from hypothetical state, because like, I've been in place where like I felt superior to others, not because I wanted to, but because of my circumstances. Like, for example, in a college, I'll use it again, I was the best student. But it wasn't because I was exceptionally smart or anything, it was just because I was putting more effort than everyone else. And at a certain point, it made me feel like I'm better than everyone, even though it's not a good place to be at. Because it makes you more arrogant, and arrogance is never good. Confidence and arrogance is unfortunately not the same thing. And like, you can become arrogant from confidence very easily, unfortunately. And if you lack confidence at all, it's not a good thing either. It's kind of a hard balance. Because like, I was always good at public speaking. I was always really good at like conveying my ideas. And sometimes some people perceive it as arrogance. And I totally understand why. Because the way I talk usually just seems somewhat condescending every now and again. Depending on like what I'm talking about. And I have a very direct approach. I don't really like to like go in the roundabout ways about talking about things that are important, like serious. I usually like to say things how they are, as to not like, I don't know, just give like a false sense of anything really to anyone. And a lot of people don't like that, and I understand why, because like, you don't want to hear about negative stuff. And I perfectly understand that. I personally don't want to hear about negative things all the time either. But sometimes you kind of need to, because if you surround yourself with only positives, then you kind of forget what actually positives are. Because everything is positive. So I feel like having sort of trials that you'll overcome and become better as a result is a necessity really for anyone, because like any trials that you pass through, the chances are it makes you a better person, both from the perspective of just being like a good human being, as well as just becoming more knowledgeable. Because if you make a mistake, right, for a lot of people think if you make a mistake then it's a really bad thing. But it's not always the case, because sometimes you can learn from mistakes. Not always, but some mistakes actually help you to grow and learn what you should do in the future. The most important thing is just not let those mistakes define you. Like if you fail once, right? Let's say you didn't achieve the goal that you originally wanted to. Like you didn't win like the first prize or something in a competition that you really were passionate about. Some people might take it as the end of the road, but some people might take it as, you know what, I have a room to grow. And both options are valid, depending on like where you're coming from. And I understand both, but I just feel like you gotta try your best in order to achieve the ideal results. And it's really important to not just get absorbed by your past and just... I'm not saying to forget it completely, because that's not the best solution either. You shouldn't like forget your failures at all and just kind of like make sure they never happened or something like that. But I think as long as you take everything as a lesson, or at least try to, just get something out of everything you do in life, I think then you're just gonna feel better about what you're gonna do in the future. Even if it's not something you necessarily wanted to do. Like let's say you need to get a job or something, right? And you don't really want to do it, but you kind of need to because you want to become independent. You don't want to be like a burden to other people. Just think of it as something temporary. Never think about stuff that you don't want to do as something you need to do for the rest of your life. Just think about it as like a short stop on your long journey that will lead to something you actually want to do. At least that's the way I viewed. Because like, as I said before, I never wanted to have a desk job in my life. Because I found it extremely tedious. I thought that every time I would go to job, I would have like my dreams crashed. And I would just feel like trash. Which it certainly does have that effect for most people. And I do get it why, because like I've been doing it for the past 2 months and it's definitely not the most pleasant thing ever. But at the same time, like you just gotta find some positives. For example, the way I look at it is if I have a job, I have money. And if I have money, I can do what I actually want to do. For example, before I started YouTube, I was doing all my videos on like a really old laptop with an old pair of headphones. I didn't even have the mic because I couldn't afford it. So the way I saw it, every time I go to job is that I can upgrade my setup. So I'll put a goal for myself. And it's a small goal. It's not like the biggest goal in the world. But like I set myself a goal. I'll go to job for a month. And I'll save as much money as possible to buy what I actually want to do. Equipment. And after I did that, I felt much better about doing stuff that I don't want to do. And that's kind of what I would suggest for you guys. If you have something you don't want to do, like for example, you don't want to go to school, right? I didn't want to go to school either. I found school extremely tedious. I thought it was a waste of time. And I saw it was something that was completely pointless. I didn't like anyone in my school. Like, I had friends, but like, I still didn't want to go to it, because why would I? I'd rather stay at home and like play video games or something. And I'm sure you guys can relate to it, at least somewhat. Whether you go into school or job, it's all kind of the same. But the way I coped with school personally is that I had hobbies. I did judo for a while. And that kind of became my escape from school. And then when I was done with that, I would go home and I would like either read or I would play video games. I would go on like Discord calls with my friends. We would chat. We would like stay all night long, talk about stuff they actually cared about. And that's the way I kind of deal with personally like hard times, is I try to have escape of sorts. Not to like forget about bad things, but to kind of have a downtime, if you will. Because I understand that everybody needs a downtime from whatever you're doing, really. Because if you don't, you're just gonna feel miserable all the time, and it's not something you want to be feeling. Because if you are miserable all the time, it's very easy to just like give up on life in general. And I speak from experience because like for the past almost 2 years, I kind of felt that way. I felt like I wasn't amounting to much, and I felt like, you know, well, maybe like I'm just not gonna be something great in the future, you know? And I had those thoughts for ever since I was like 18 till I was 20. And maybe even till like recently, really. Like I only stopped thinking like that maybe like at the end of summer, really. But I had those thoughts for a while, and it's very easy to get absorbed in them. And I've been there, I've done that, and I can say from experience that you shouldn't do that. It's not gonna be something... How should I say it? It's not gonna be something you're gonna be proud about when you actually start doing what you like. Because you're gonna think about it as a time that you wasted, where you could have done something better with it. Because I definitely had those regrets. I definitely thought about the past 2 years and like what I did about it. And I thought of it as a wasted time. And I still do. And I still have that regret. I don't let it like define me, but I still have that in mind. And that motivates me to never go back to that place of not being able to like be in control of myself or my life or choices that I make, really. So I hope they're kind of helpful to you guys as well. If you can relate or not, I'm not sure. But as I said, like, just make sure that your time is valuable. And even if you don't think it is, just try to make sure that whatever you're doing, think of it as a resource. And you have limited amount of that resource. And just make sure that you're spending in the best way possible. Otherwise, you're just gonna, you know, as I said, regret it in the future. When you're like older. I'm not saying like when you are in your 70s or anything, but like when you get to the point where you actually are able to do something you want to do, the one thing that you're gonna think about it, what if I started earlier? Like, what would happen if I started like a year or two earlier? Would I be even in a better place right now? And that's very easy to get those thoughts, because like, if you are successful, you obviously think about, how can I be more successful? Even if you're satisfied with what you have, even if you like have a stable job, you have a good family, friends, you have somebody to look up to, you have like a good hobby that you enjoy a lot, there's still gonna be those lingering thoughts in your head every single time you kind of have a free minute or two of like, what would happen? What would happen if I didn't waste that 1 year that I just spent like at home doing nothing? And you would start thinking about that. And it might become like a point of contention for you in the future. And all I'm saying is, those thoughts are not bad. Because those thoughts makes you more motivated. Because if you ever experience something like that, you do know that you don't want to go back to that place ever. Because if you do, you understand that it's not going to be good. Because like, I don't want to talk about like negative stuff, but I think it's important to acknowledge that if you are unhappy, right? If you think like you don't have anything to look up to, you don't have anything on the horizon that like you wanna keeps you motivated, I guess, in a sense, to keep like pushing and keep improving, I'd say you don't need that. All you need is something that actually keeps you motivated. Even if it is just your hobby. Like, let's say you enjoy games a lot. If that's what makes you happy, instead of just, you know, like playing games, why not try to like research about them? Maybe try to think what I can do personally about that, my hobby, that would make me more happy. Whether it's just like writing something about the games you enjoy, or even making videos like I do. Being a YouTuber is not hard, like, and you don't need to think about it as an actual job, you just think of it as a hobby. If you want to try it, honestly, like, from my experience, all you really need is just a good idea every now and again. And everything you can find for free really online. All you need is actually like a good hardware, maybe. But even then, you don't necessarily do. Like, as long as you have something, even your phone can be used as a recording, really, if you do put your mind to it. But that's only if you're like actually interested in it. That's just as an example. It could be applied to anything, really. What was I doing? I guess I'll do some Spiral Abyss whilst I'll keep talking about it. But yeah, as I was saying, if you don't feel like you have motivation in life, right? You feel like, you know what? There's nothing I really want to do. And there's nothing really I want to achieve. I can't blame you, honestly. Like, I have those thoughts all the time. Like, what would happen if I did that? What would happen if I did this? What would happen if I, like, took that chance, took that opportunity? Would it make my life better? And half the time, yes, it would. But at the same time, you do everything for a reason. And if you don't do something, it's also for a reason. Like, you shouldn't have regrets. And you shouldn't let... Or if you do have regrets, you shouldn't let those regrets define you. Because if you do that, it's very easily to forget what you actually want to do. In my case, I almost never try to, like, self-pity myself. Because I understand that it's a very negative thing to do.
Mind the deluge.
Because as soon as you start to pity yourself, you don't actually... You stop thinking about how to improve and you just get lost in self-loathing. I'm just saying that not as a hypothetical. I mean, I've been there. I've done that. I know how it feels when you don't really have anything to look forward to. I mean, as I said, I spent almost 2 years just stuck in my room doing not much with my life, really. And every single day, I would just wake up. I would do, like, my daily chores or whatever. I would, like, take a shower. And I would spend my entire day on the computer, like, playing video games or something. And don't get me wrong, it's not, like, the worst life ever. I do understand that. There are people who, like, struggle every single day actually to, like, properly live. But I'm just talking from my personal experience. Because, like, I never grew up in, like, the best family ever. Like, I don't come from a exceptionally wealthy or, like, well-off background. Since I was born in, like, a third world country. And I moved to Britain when I was, like, 12. So I had to learn, like, a language from zero. And I had to, like, adapt to new climate and environment. And that took a toll on me, really. It kind of made me realize that, you know what? Maybe I'm not as good as I actually thought I was. Because, like, ever since I was a child, I had a lot of self-confidence. I always tried to make sure that... Probably should put banner here. But yeah, as I was saying, I was always, like, really confident in myself. And I always tried to, like, persuade myself, really, more than anyone, that I'm actually good enough in whatever I'm doing. And personally, that could be a double-edged sword. Because if you try to persuade yourself that you're better than you actually are, it could lead to two things. One, which in my case, is that it made me arrogant. And not in a good way. It didn't make me arrogant in a self-confident. It made me arrogant in a sense of that I try to put myself higher than other people. And that's not a good thing. You might think it's a good thing when you like put yourself above others, but in reality all it makes you is even more arrogant in other people's eyes. And even if you don't care about what other people think, I definitely never cared. I never cared about what anyone's thought about me. I always just ignored it. But at the same time, you can't really ignore when somebody like talks about you behind your back. Because you realize that even if you don't want to acknowledge it, it kind of makes you feel pretty shitty, really. Like, it's never a good thing to realize that, you know what? Other people don't like me. Because unfortunately humans are social creatures and we can't really survive on our own. We still need at least somebody in our life that we can talk to. Because, take it from me, like, I'm probably one of the most antisocial people ever. Because, like, I rarely like to depend on others. And I prefer the company of myself more than anything. But at the same time, I'm like a weird mixture between social and antisocial. Because, like, when I'm in a group with people I actually like, I'm probably one of the most chattiest people you'll ever know. But when I'm in the environment where I don't care about those people, I don't like those people, and I just don't want to be around them, I'm probably one of the most quietest people ever. And that's why I would advise you, if you are the same, just surround yourself with people they actually like. Because don't create an echo chamber of people that actually just your yes man or anything, because that's not a good thing either. Just make sure that you have people that actually make you feel like you belong somewhere. Like, for example, when I was feeling at my darkest, I kind of joined like a lot of Discord groups that I found interesting. For example, I liked games. I like certain games. I joined Discord groups for those games, and I found like-minded people that actually shared my own views on life and just in general. And I made friends that way. Because don't get me wrong, I know how hard it is to make friends in real life. I've definitely been there. Because every single friend that I ever made, I felt like they weren't real friends. I felt like they were just people that I know, like acquaintances, more than anything. I never felt like they were someone they can actually depend on, and somebody who would have my back. And I always only felt that way about people who I actually never met. So people I met online. And the reason for that, I guess, is because I actually never met them. Because I think I have just like a issue with trusting people that I don't know. And I'm more than sure that some of you guys are the same way. You just don't feel comfortable with like sharing about your self with people that you don't know about. Because you're afraid of getting judged, and that's normal. We're all the same. Like, nobody likes to get judged. That's why most of us just keep it to ourselves and don't like talk about personal stuff. But I think it's important to open up every now and again. Like, even if you talk to somebody you're not particularly like familiar with, like I'm doing right now, it kind of helps you to realize that, you know what, maybe I do have a lot of things that I need to work on. Because it's easy to forget the negatives if you don't actually think about them. But when you just think about them every now and again, it kind of puts it in perspective for you of whether you should work on it or not. Because if you only think about good stuff, you'll never get over the bad stuff. It's always gonna be like a chain for you. It's just gonna keep dragging you down until one day you're just gonna snap and either take it out on somebody you actually care about. Like, sometimes when I was in that type of situation, I would take my anger on people that I actually cared about, like my friends and my family, really. And I would say stuff that I would regret, obviously. And like later I would apologize for it, but I still would feel like crap afterwards. Simply because like it's not their fault for me having like my own issues. So that's why I say just find like-minded people that you actually at least somewhat enjoy company of. You don't necessarily need to be like, you know, best friends with them. But if it helps you to become more social and more like carefree, I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Because like, internet offers you anonymity more than anything. Which means that you can be really anyone you want. Which is pretty appealing to a lot of people. So you can just pretend like whatever you're saying is not real. Just pretend like you're talking to somebody, like, if you really feel like it. Just pretend like you talk to an NPC or something. And you're just sharing your own life story with somebody that's just there to listen.
Let's light it up.
Because trust me, I never talked to anyone about my own personal issues for years. And it really took a toll on me, both like mentally and physically. Because I would just bottle everything up inside of me. And it definitely makes you feel much worse than you need to be. Because like, it makes you feel like whatever problem you have is actually much worse than it is. And if you just talk about it, it might not necessarily make you feel better. I do realize that. But at least you realize that it's not the end of the world to like make mistakes and have failures, I guess, in a sense. That's just the way I kind of viewed. I know there's better ways of approaching stuff like that. I do realize that it's just... it's kind of the way I usually approach it. I mean, Greg, honestly, like, I might seem like I'm exceptionally social individual, but I feel the same way. Like, I feel exceptionally shy around people that I don't actually know. Like, it takes me ages to actually open up to somebody. It's not easy. I do know that. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. But if you do want to become more social, I think the easiest and best way, as I said, is just find somebody that you like and talk up to them about actually what you like. You don't even need to talk about like anything harsh or like even real stuff. You can just talk, like, what I would do sometimes is I would hop on Discord and I would just chat with like random people that I don't even, never even knew really. And I would talk to them about like games, I would talk to them about life. They would share like their stories, I would share mine. And I would treat it like almost as a therapy session, really. I wouldn't even treat it as like heart-to-heart talk. And it honestly would make me feel better just to talk to somebody that I knew was there to listen. Even if I knew that they most likely didn't care that much, it kind of just feels good to talk to someone. Because if you are shy and you don't want to talk to anyone, but at the same time you kind of feel like you need to, then it makes you feel obligated to actually converse with people. But if you talk to, if you're antisocial, right, or you're shy, and you talk to someone just because you want to, it kind of makes it more, I guess,
Kamisato Ari. Suiyu.
accepting for yourself in a way, I'd say.
Off we go.
Because the way I developed my confidence is
Cascade.
just by talking to strangers, really. And try to talk to people that you don't usually would talk to. Like, if you have a really good group of friends, just go with them to, like, and talk to the friends of your friends. Because then you wouldn't feel as awkward. Because you would at least know somebody who you're with. But at the same time, you would talk to someone that you never talked to. And that way, you would practice and become confident with more and more talking that you do. It's the same way really I practice public speaking. Because, like, before I actually go into public speaking, I was terrified. I was terrified of, like, going to a group of, like, 10-20 people even, and just talking, you know? And the main problem I had is that I never prepared, like, notes or anything. So I would always talk from my head. And, like, every time I would get, like, a mini panic attack. Because I never felt like I would be confident enough to actually pour my heart and soul out to people. If you are afraid of starting conversation, I would say you just listen to what the other people are talking to. And if you have something to say, just kind of like casually walk up to them and just say like your opinion on the subject. Because like the way I would talk to my classmates, even if when I didn't like them, I would just like sit on the table and I would hear like random people speaking around me. And like whenever I hear something that I was kind of knowledgeable about, I would just kind of like casually slide into conversation and like say, oh, you know what, I know a little bit about that. It's kind of like that, like even if those people would be like, what the hell are you doing? We in the middle of talking. Like, yeah, it would be awkward, but you know what would be more awkward if you just stayed there while other people talking around you and just said nothing, you know? Because at least then you can just play it off as a, like a little quirky thing that you do, you know? Just casually like slide in conversation. Because like the worst thing that's gonna happen, they're just gonna ignore you. And like, that's not the end of the world. Because even if they do ignore you, at least you tried. And you won't improve unless you try. And as I said, if you're not comfortable with doing it in real life, do it online. As I said, there's plenty of like-minded people. Like, you might think that there's nobody like you out there. And I definitely thought the same way. Before, when I was like anywhere from 15 to 18, I was horrified of talking to strangers online. Because like, I thought of everyone as just somebody I have nothing in common with. I don't know what to say to them.
Another test subject.
But as soon as you start actually talking to people, you realize that, you know what? Maybe other people actually have something in common with me. They might not be the most like interesting or like-minded people ever, but at least they're gonna be someone that's not gonna judge you. Because think about talking to people online, they don't know you and you don't know them. So you can judge each other based on only what you're saying, really. And if you're just like a normal person, this doesn't... It's not like a weirdo or anything. And you just talk to people as you would to anyone else. People will accept you and just take you for who you are. Another thing that I personally did before, which I know is not for everyone, is I played a lot of co-op games. And I would make friends that way. Like, I would join like guilds. Like, I played a lot of like PvP gacha games back in the past. And like one of the games that I played used to be Bleach Brave Souls, which is like another gacha games based on Bleach, since I like Bleach a lot. And personally, I made a lot of friends that way because I would go on like raids with them, and I would join Discord groups and we would like talk about the game. I would share like strategy guides. I would make a lot of like good memories with them. And obviously you're not gonna make friends immediately. It's not gonna happen. I do realize that. But what's gonna happen is that you're gonna make connections. And with those connections, you might get friends in the future. Because if you are a cool person, right? And you make other people realize that you're a cool person, they would be more likely to either talk to you more, or at least mention you in conversations while they're talking to someone else. Because like I was always, in any group, I was always like a serious fun guy, if you will. Because I would always be like the one that would either make jokes or would be like exceptionally serious whenever something happens. And that's kind of what you need. You need something that people know you by. Like, for example, if you are somewhat funny, just try to make jokes every now and again. And I'm not meaning like become a clown or anything, but just like try to make other people at least somewhat entertained. Or if you're like somewhat of a serious person like I am, just try to like make interesting comments about something. Like I used to make a lot of guides for games that I played. I used to make like detailed guides and share them with people in my guilds or even strangers really. And a lot of people just come to like me because of that really. I would like help others, I would give them like advice. I would say like what to build, what not to build, who to get, who not to get. And it's kind of how I made friends along the way, how I got acquainted with a lot of people. And some of those people I still even know nowadays. Some of those people
all the other nights already.
I talk to, I mean, semi-regularly, really. And that's how you make friends for life. You don't just make friends based on the game. So, I mean, sometimes you do, but like, if you get acquainted with some really cool people, you can make friends for life. And I know that online friends are not the same as real life friends. I perfectly understand that. I'm not like delusional about it. But at the same time, I do realize that whatever your life circumstances is, sometimes you just don't have like-minded people around you. And that's perfectly fine. Like, I've definitely been there. I've been surrounded by people that make me actually feel worse being in a group than being by myself.
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble!
Well, you see, the thing is, as I said, if you're not comfortable in your real life being who you are, just be yourself, at least online. Because, like, it's a very slippery path of not being yourself throughout your entire life. Because then you're just gonna become somebody that everybody else wants you to be, you know? And you don't want to be there. Because if you forget who you actually are, all you're gonna be throughout your entire life is somebody that somebody else wants you to be. You're just gonna wear a mask for your entire life. And I've been there as well. I've just tried to be like, for majority of my school life, I was in a group with people who I didn't really care about. I was only in that group because that was a group that was of popular kids. And I was with them only because if I was with them, nobody would bother me.
Good things come to those who don't wait around. That's what they say anyway.
As long as you have at least one or two really good friends who like have your back, that's all you really need in life, in my opinion. Because as long as you have at least even one, like one good friend is better than 100 strangers that you're gonna meet. Because the one good friend is always gonna be there for you, whenever you're down or up.
Join me on an adventure in
And the way you realize who is your friend is when you are down. Because anybody could be with you when you are up. Like, it's exceptionally easy to be with somebody who's like either successful or like good looking or good at something like studying. It's exceptionally easy being with someone like that. But it's exceptionally hard being with someone who's down on their luck and doesn't feel like they amount to much. So you're just gonna find at least one person like that. And I know it's hard. I know it is. I definitely can relate. I'm not saying it's easy. But unless you try, you really can't change it.
Adventure team, assemble!
As I said,
Or not.
you see, Greg, what I would say is the reason you probably feel that way is because you never actually had a real friend. And and don't take it the wrong way. I'm not saying it's your fault. It's definitely not. I do realize that sometimes you just can't choose who you hang out with. Sometimes you just take whatever you can get. But personally, I'd say if you can, and it's only if you can, just try to
Witness the power of Hua.
Squirrel, Mark 2.
just be yourself with people that you actually think would allow you to be yourself.
Everybody stand back!
If you're just afraid of people not accepting you for who you are, just try to little by little becoming yourself with those that surround you. Like, you don't need to go tomorrow and just become who you actually are, because obviously other people will probably find it weird, and you might even be like outcasted because of that. I do realize that.
I can no longer hold back.
But if you little by little become somebody that other people can actually get used to, you know? Because people get used to everything. Like, there's not a single person out there who would be like, you know what, I don't like that guy. And just be like that forever. Because obviously, if you just one day change your entire personality, people gonna think you either weird or something is up, you know? That's not a good look. So just try to like implement little by little changes. For example, like try to either dress how you would usually dress, or try to talk the way you would usually talk. Like little changes like that. Even the way you like your body language shows your confidence in a lot of ways. For example, if you're like slouching all the time and you don't look people in the eyes, it's less likely for them to actually care about you, because confidence is not something you can get by simply just changing like how you act. It's more about what you do overall. And one thing that I personally realized, I don't know if it will be helpful for you, but I realized that body language dictates to other people how confident you are. Like, you might not feel confident yourself, but if you look somebody in the eyes while you talk to them, it makes you feel more confident yourself, as well as convey to other people that you're confident. If you don't look somebody in the eyes while you talk to them, all it makes them, it tells them that you're either disinterested in the conversation, you don't necessarily care about what they're saying, or you simply just don't like them or something. And usually people pick up on those types of things exceptionally easy. it's also depends on person to person. Like, not everybody is like a blank slate that you can judge from just, you know, somebody's advice. But majority of the time, people enjoy somebody who is, first of all, not afraid to say what they have to say. If you just try to please others all the time, it's not gonna make you happy. It's not gonna make other people happy, because, like, other people will just think of you as somebody who's just there to kiss their ass. And you don't want to be known as someone like that. You just want to be known as someone who's actually has their own opinions, has their own thoughts, and somebody who's not afraid to actually convey them to other people. And I'm not saying to be like a jackass about it, you know? I'm not saying to like say to everyone that they can go and fuck themselves, you know? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, you just gotta understand that you're your own person, and you don't need to base your entire life on what other people think about you. Like, it's fine to actually care about what other people think about you, but what is not fine is when you base your entire life decisions on what other people think of you. Because then, all it is you're just gonna try to please others.
Ad Astra Abyssa.
And you're not gonna be yourself more than anything. And I don't think that's a good thing, personally. I could be wrong. I'm not all-knowing. I definitely don't know everything. But that's just kind of like my own opinion about things. As I said, my best advice would be to just try and be yourself little by little. Even with people that you don't particularly like have eye to eye with. As soon as they realize that you actually just become yourself. Because even if you are weird, like, I'm not saying you are, but like, even if you have like quirky personality, even if you like not particularly like standard type of person, you know? As long as you actually genuine with others, they are more likely to accept you for who you are. Because like, nobody likes boring people. If there's one thing that people don't enjoy, is somebody who is boring. Because nobody cares about boring people. Because if you are boring, people are less likely to actually listen to what you have to say. People only care about those they either find interesting or somebody they can relate to. And if you can become one of those types of people, I think that will help you tremendously. Alright, what was I doing again? I kind of got off on a tangent a little bit. I usually don't really talk about like serious stuff, just because, I don't know, kind of find it a little bit daunting maybe on you guys. But I feel like it's important to talk about a bit of serious stuff every now and again, just to make sure that we keep it real and not just about fun and games. I guess I can do just like friendship experience. Didn't really do that yet. Oh yeah, by the way guys, if you find me like XP for like friends and whatever, this is one of the spots where you actually do it. Like, I know I uploaded the video a while back. Actually, it says about other location, which is better. But this one is kind of for more of a beginner friendly, I guess. Oh, also, Greg, like, don't take my advice for, like, face value. Like, I'd much rather you just, like, try to sort it out the best way for you. Because, as I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable person ever. Like, my advice might not even help you really that much, but I just hope it at least gives you at least a little bit of self-confidence in yourself. Because, like, I'm sure you're a good person. Even if you might not think that, I'm sure you know, like, the worst people. Like, there's plenty of bad people out there. Like, I'm acquainted with a lot of, like, dickheads in my life. And, you know, sometimes you just have to deal with them. You can't really avoid them. Because if you avoid them, you're not gonna really solve anything.
On the waters of Chinza. Coveting the shapes of the living, pure water can take on many forms.
Because, like,
in this way, shall water deliver your punishment.
I would never say that I was bullied, like, ever. But that was simply because other people were afraid of me. But I was definitely a target of, how should I say it? Not really discrimination in a sense, but like...
Without solid ground, terrestrial creatures become simply helpless.
I didn't know Diablo was even a contender, really. I thought Diablo was long dead, really. Isn't it, like, exceptionally pay to win?
Is its ability to take any
The only thing that I know about Diablo is that all the, like, controversy was surrounded with it. I never played the game personally. Because I'm not really into, like, rogue type games. But I do know that to be a contender for that, you need to be at least somewhat popular, no?
treasures fails also to comprehend its horrors.
Personally, I think, like, the best mobile game would be between probably Genshin and Tower of Fantasy. I can't think of any others. Maybe Raid Shadow Legends. I don't know. Like, I haven't paid that much attention to, like, mobile game sphere in the past few months or so. I never even tried Tower of Fantasy, actually.
There is no escape. Hey. I see the stars.
Let's see what happens when you lose your foothold.
Well, I'm glad it helped you a little bit, Greg.
The power of water.
Just don't be afraid, you know?
To take any shape.
Just try to go at it with the best attitude you possibly can. And if it doesn't work out, you know, at least you tried.
Make yourselves at home. I see everything.
As long as rain falls and rivers flow, water will exist forever.
I'm just kind of trying to do like some background finding for you guys, just so it's not too boring to look at the screen while I'm talking. Just doing some like boss fights, just for somewhat entertaining stream, I guess. Because I'm kind of in the mood for talking more than anything today.
Adventure time.
I'll probably do like more Sumeru plot later, like this week. But I just kind of felt like talking today. So I had a pretty rough day myself at work. Had a lot of not the smartest people. Kept calling me all day long. Just complaints and stuff like that.
Mind the deluge.
So I kind of wanted to vent a little bit.
Illusion shattered. Off we go. Teamwork is dreamwork.
see that coming.
Cascade.
Oh, also, Greg, I have another good advice for you. So, try to find out what the people you actually want to talk to are interested in. For example, just listen to their conversations and just find out what like games or like media they're interested in. And just do like a little research of your own about those subjects and just try to like fit into their group by talking about the subjects that they're actually interested in. Because I think that way you have a much higher chances of actually succeeding. Because like if you start talking about stuff that they're not particularly interested in, they might be less likely to be friends with you. But you never know. You might actually make good friends that way. Because like when I was in school, I would connect with people through like Yu-Gi-Oh! I know it's pretty old school, but I used to like trade Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards all the time. And the way I became like a quote-unquote popular kid among my group was because I was the only person back in the day who actually had like full Exodia. So I was one of the only people who would actually like slap cheeks of everyone. And that was why people actually wanted to hang out with me. Because I was the only person who had like multiple copies of Exodia parts. Like I had certain pieces, if you will, that nobody else had. And I was also the only person who had like the entire Blue Eyes White Dragon collection back in the day. I was big into like a lot of card games as a child. Not anymore, really. Simply because I don't really have time, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a very big part of my childhood. I used to play like all the time, and I would watch like... I probably rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh! Just as the like background. I wanna say at least 5 times the entire like 100 episode series. Not like the first season, but like the big one. I never watched like the new ones, just because I was never interested. Oh yes, I think I was just giving like advice to one of the guys in chat about how to like fit in conversation with the other people. If you're like not very confident, just talk to like about common subjects. Cause like I haven't been in school in over, I don't know, 6 years now. I finished school at 16. So I'm not exactly 100% sure what's like kids are up to nowadays, in like trends wise. But I assume it's probably the same for like boys. It's probably like games, maybe like manga or anything like that. That's probably pretty easy to like fit in.
Could it break the curse.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough. That's very rough, Greg. Because, like, in my school, everyone was, like, talking about... I guess it's one of the things growing up in England. Everybody's talking about, like, sports a lot. So, I was always, like, the weird one who never actually cared about sports. So, I would always be, like, the odd one out on a, like, play yard. And I would always, like, just, like, play basketball or something. Like, throw, like, 3-pointers. While everyone else was talking about, like, football and whatnot. So, I definitely can relate. But at the same time, I did have a few people who were at least somewhat interested in games. So, I would just, like, talk to them. But I guess... when you have at least someone in, like, parallel classes, it's kinda... like, on your same wavelength. Because, like, I can't imagine there's not even one person. Like, as I said, I don't know what kids are into nowadays, but, like... there should be at least someone that's at least somewhat interested in what you're interested in. Because, like, I'm pretty sure, like, everybody watches anime nowadays, because it's kind of, like, mainstream. Because it used to be, like, only for nerdy people. I'm not 100% sure why I came here. But I'm pretty sure at least, I don't know, someone in your group, like, in your class, at least watches anime or, like, reads, like, manga or something. Because, like, I'm pretty sure it used to be... That's very weird, because I thought, like, with Netflix being, like, mainstream, I thought more people watch anime nowadays. Because, like, I grew up in the era where anime was, like, not that cool, really. Because I used to watch anime, like, back in 2010, or something like that. And, like, obviously, it wasn't mainstream. But I could swear, I thought that nowadays, like, kids are exceptionally interested in it. But maybe no. Honestly, I can't blame you though. I can't remember the last time I watched like full season of anime, but it's only because I started reading manga. So like, I'm still into that. I'm just like, cause like I like reading a little bit more than just watching, cause like the pacing is a little bit better in my opinion. But it's very weird that nobody actually likes it in your group, cause like. I could swear that, like, nowadays was, like, Netflix, like, pumping out, like, Death Note, like, Chainsaw Man. There's a lot of other, like, Jujutsu Kaisen was very mainstream. What else? Spike's Family, I thought was, like, everybody watched it. I was pretty sure it was, like, an obligation, more than anything.
Time. Let's light it up.
I mean, my personal reason for stopping watching anime was mostly because I've seen too many. Like, I watched anime ever since I was 10. So, and I watched it till I was like 18 or so. So I watched anime like non-stop for 8 years.
There is no escape.
So I saw pretty much almost everything there is to see. Like, I saw every single, like, mainstream and non-mainstream. Like, I was a weird guy who watched an entirety of One Piece at one point. And, like, I watched the entirety of Bleach. And I watched the entirety of Naruto and Fairy Tail. So that should tell you how much of a anime nerd I was back in the day. And each of those series is at least, like, 300 episodes long. Because, like... I blasted through One Piece when it was like near Dressrosa arc, and I watched it all in about, I don't know, I want to say like 3 months or so. I like blasted through it exceptionally quickly. Because every time I would go to school, I would just come back and watch like anime at home. I watched... sad fake. Bleach is one of my favorite animes of all time, so I'm definitely hyped for it, but the thing is, I already know what's gonna happen. Just because even though I didn't read manga, like, it was spoiled to death to me, because, like, when I was into Bleach a lot, like, I got a lot of videos recommended of, like, manga recap. So I kinda know what's gonna happen, but not the entire story. Which I'm still hyped about. Because, like, I was extremely bummed out when I realized that Bleach had a hiatus. Because, like, I watched Bleach back in 2012 or something. And this was, like, one of the first mangas I ever read. Yeah, mangas and anime I ever watched. My first anime ever was Death Note, and I think Bleach was second to that. Because I think I started Bleach in about 2010, but I haven't finished watching it until 2012 just because it was so long. But yeah, I think I finished it right around when they actually announced that they weren't gonna make it anymore because the creator jumped the ship to Naruto. And I never liked Naruto that much anyway. Because, like, the main reason why I like Bleach so much is because I really like Ichigo. Like, Ichigo was one of the most, I guess I'd say, real main characters. Like, he wasn't one of those main characters where they feel like they don't have any human emotions whatsoever. Because Ichigo struggled a lot. Like, he actually dealt with things that any normal person would deal. Like, he dealt with emotions, he dealt with losing people, he dealt with like struggles, actual struggles that not usually dealt with main. Because in my mind, main characters half the time are just those extremely overpowered people that just blast through any issues they have in their ways with like power of friendship or whatever. Or on the other side is people who are extremely unfortunate and don't have anything to look forward in life, and they're just miserable all the time. And it's kind of in between those two. Oh yeah, Greg, have a good one. Just be yourself and don't let any negative stuff get to you. If anything, you can always talk to me. There's no worries. Whenever I'm live, just jump in. And I'll try my best to help if I can. And if not, at least you can have some chat with me. I'm usually open to anything, really. I'm not that picky about what to talk to about. But yeah. Don't get me started on my sleep time. My sleep schedule is so messed up. I usually go to bed like anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m. And it's not good. Let's just say it's not good. I really need a good, like, sleep schedule. But I just can't force myself because there's too much stuff to read, too much stuff to watch, and too much stuff to play, and I just don't have enough time, you know? But yeah, as I was saying, the main reason why I like Ichigo is because he's one of the only characters in manga that, or in general, like anime, they actually feel like has some depth to him and some character development. Because Ichigo starts as like this bratty, like high school kid who doesn't really care about anyone else. And within like 50 episodes, he kind of develops into like more of a mature, like young man, really. And I really like that about him. Plus, Bleach has one of my personal favorite characters, which is Aizen. And I love Aizen to death. Aizen is pretty much probably my favorite character ever in any like fictional way. Just because, like, I know a lot of people clown on Aizen because of how he lost to Ichigo, but like, I wasn't even that bummed out about it. I was more like, I was just kind of amused. But in case you don't know, in Bleach, there's this guy called Aizen, who is like the main antagonist through pretty much the entire series. And his entire like big plot was that he manipulated the main character throughout his entire life. And his big like ploy was to make main character like this exceptionally powerful being who's like so strong that he would be the only one to actually be able to give a challenge to the main antagonist. And he like orchestrated his entire life to the point where like almost every single encounter, every single person he ever met, the main antagonist planned for it. And like there was this massive build up, a lot of like characters got slaughtered along the way of this like massive fight where like the main character pretty much deleted Aizen by like sacrificing his like power pretty much. He like pretty much inputted his entire power in like one big swing. And a lot of people were pissed about it because like Aizen got like this godlike transformation with like Hogoku, which is like another part of the story that's pretty important. I'm not gonna spoil what it is in case you didn't know, but there's massive hoopla about like this Aizen transformation where he becomes pretty much like a god in sorts. And all Ichigo does, who is the main protagonist, he pretty much just like transforms into like a dark version of himself with like bandages and like black hair and everything, like looking slick. And he just like deletes Aizen in one swing. And everybody was like, what the hell? Wasn't Aizen supposed to be like this god deity that never was supposed to lose to anyone? And everybody took it as everybody was clowning on it just because the reason like they gave it was that Aizen was afraid if he won against Ichigo, there wouldn't be anyone else to actually pose a challenge to him. And this Hogyoku was like think of it as a magic genie who actually makes any wish you want come true. So this Hogyoku sensed that Aizen didn't want to like actually win against Ichigo, so it made him lose, and everybody lost their shit about it because people were like, isn't Aizen supposed to be the strongest, like this being that will never lose to anyone? And I personally just find it amusing because like I didn't find it like a bad story writing or anything. I thought it was pretty cool. Because, like, I did realize that Aizen would probably lose, just because, like, Ichigo literally sacrificed his entire, like, power in order to unleash just one swing. So it makes sense that Aizen would lose, but, like, just the way he lost was really fun to me. And, like, in case you didn't read manga, it all kind of makes sense, because, like, if you didn't know, Aizen didn't actually get, like, killed or anything by Ichigo. He was just kind of like half stripped of his power. Not really, but like he was kind of in like a weakened state. And the main like Soul Reapers, like the main like good guys, kind of sealed him and put him in like this massive chair. And Aizen was pretty much ruling the entire like Soul Society from their chair while he was bound by like some high level like spells. I forgot what they call, like Pedo I think, or something like that. And I was like, that's my boy. And that's why I love Aizen, because like Aizen is the only character throughout the entire like anime that ruled pretty much everyone from just sitting on his chair. He haven't moved from his chair for years, and he still was one of the most powerful characters in the entire franchise. And at the end, the main character had to still rely on Aizen in order to defeat like the other antagonists that showed up instead of Aizen. So Aizen was pretty much like the big daddy of the entire series, and nobody could do anything without him. And that's why I love him so much. Because well, there's other reasons, like I also like his character development a lot. Because like Aizen was, how should I say it? Aizen was one of the most unpredictable villains you ever find in anime, just because there wasn't a single hint about Aizen being evil. When he like finally gets revealed to be like this big bad villain, there was not a single like actual trace before you watch his reveal that would even indicate that he's like a villain, because he's introduced as this like very carefree, very friendly, very approachable guy who was like a captain, and he would like help other people, he would like teach them, he would provide guidance. And you think about him when you first see him as like this nice, carefree person who like just tries his best to help others. But then you realize that he's like one of the main antagonists. And it's like his reveal is one of the coolest things you ever see. Because he's like taking his... I love this scene. He takes off his glasses and he just slicks his hair back. And he kind of becomes like an evil guy because of that. And I loved it just because it was kind of silly, but it was also really cool. But yeah, that's why I love Aizen. Because like, he has everything a villain should have, really. He like has a good character development. He has a really cool backstory. And he also has a very... how should I say it? He has a very relatable like character development, I guess, throughout his entire series. Because he starts from just being like somebody who's very like power hungry to somebody who kind of realizes their own flaws, and he kind of tries to like go through them in a sense, I guess. So yeah, that's why I love Aizen so much. That's why I played like Bleach Brave Soul so long and so like frequently, just because Aizen like got so deeply engraved into my like anime liking experience that I just play games to play as Aizen, really. Because like when I played that game, one of my favorite characters was like Aizen when he was in like his Hogoku transformation form, and I would just play with him all the time, really. I really had a big problem back then. Because like, I wouldn't say I'm a simp for any like anime character or anyone really, but Aizen is like the only one that I would consider being a simp for. I think the only other character that kind of comes close to Aizen in my mind is probably, at least from anime, I think it's probably Shanks from One Piece. I think Shanks is like the second one that I really like a lot. Just because Shanks was like very mysterious character who only would like show up every now and again just to like either help Luffy or just like be a point of contention, really.
Coming Misato Arc. Suiyu! Be still.
Another actual reason that I love Bleach so much is because Bleach is one of the only like animes that actually has some of the most badass female characters ever. Because like a lot of mangas and the animes, they don't really have like a really cool female characters. And personally, I kind of find it a little bit redundant when like female characters are just used for like a physical appearance. Cause like I find that a little bit cheap.
Everyone hold hands.
Illusion shattered. Let's light it up.
I actually never played with Yoimiya myself, but I heard she's pretty interesting. Cause she kind of plays like a shotgun. You just kind of spam her regular attacks all the time.
Transcend all constraints. There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
I'm not actually the biggest fan of like bow characters in general, just because I kind of like to be in close proximity while fighting.
Shine down.
I see everything.
It makes me feel a little bit more in control. Except Ganyu though, but Ganyu is like special case because Ganyu is just so broken that like if you don't play her, it's more of a sin. But yeah, I mean, she's kind of cool. I actually never like. I did test run on her, but like, I don't 100% know what her like elemental burst does. I know it just makes like a big AoE damage. I know they hear like these attacks are kind of like self-navigating. I think. Oh, I think you need to charge it more. Yeah. Is it no? I was pretty sure they self-navigate, no? Oh, I guess not all of them. I think it's just a few. But yeah, I'm not really familiar with Yoimiya that much. I was actually thinking about pulling her, but I was like, I don't really need her. Because, like, I'm more interested in, what's her name? The cool, like, wolf lady. I'm kind of more interested in her, really. Because I'm pretty sure she's gonna be, like, a 5-star character. Plus, you always have Zhenling to play around with as a pyro. You don't really need anyone else beside her. Because, like, she's more than capable of dealing with anyone. Like, Zhenling is probably one of the only cases where, like, she's better than some 5 stars damage-wise. Like, I'm pretty sure she's probably the most broken damage dealer for any 4 stars. Like, I can't think of a single other character that's better than her. It's like, when you think about it, like, who do you actually use as a damage dealer from, not that one, where is it? Characters. Like, who do you actually use as damage dealer except Zhenling? Like, Bennett is broken, but Bennett is a healer. Fischl is good, but Fischl is more like a sub DPS. Xingqiu could be a main DPS, but nobody really uses him for that. All the others here, like Razor is good, but he's not on the same level as Zhenling. And Sucrose is sport, Chongyun is... Actually, Chongyun might be like a good damage dealer. I never tried him, personally. But I do know that he's kinda good, especially in like national team. He could be good. Just never played with him. Diona is a support, Xinyan nobody plays. Rosaria, I don't think is a main damage deal. I don't play her, but I'm pretty sure she's not. Yanfei is actually an interesting case, because Yanfei could actually pop off if you actually build her like really well. She's actually pretty good. She's one of the few Catalyst users who's actually not bad. Surprisingly, when you think about it. Considering there's no single Catalyst user who's a main DPS except now Nahida. Like every other Catalyst user is more of a sub DPS. Just because the Catalyst targeting is awful. Like there's no single other one. I guess Mona could be, like... Klee is a main DPS, but like... Klee just has such a short range that nobody really uses her nowadays. At least, not in like hard content, really. But yeah, as I said, actually maybe Hazel is like the only other one that's a good damage dealer. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Dehe, I think her name is. She should be fun to play around with. Unless she's not a 5-star, in which case I don't really know. Because like we didn't have a really good pyro character in ages. Like the last one was Hu Tao. And that was God knows how long ago. So I'm looking forward to a new pyro character. Because like back in the day, pyros used to be like the most released unit ever. And then they just kind of stopped. They just kind of decided, you know what, we're not gonna do pyro anymore. And they just went crazy on like Electro and Hydra. Like I'm pretty sure pyro... let me check before I start talking out of my ass. I'm pretty sure pyro is not like the most character-wise class anymore. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we didn't have like a pyro character in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In about 7 to 8 updates, really. Which is a lot when you think about it, because like Toma came out last year. I'm not sure if it was like summer or it might have been actually autumn now that I think about it, but I do know that he came out by himself with like reruns. I do remember that, but yeah, we didn't have like a pyro character in ages. That's really a shame, because like Hu Tao is really like the only pyro DPS 5-star that's actually like really good. Like Dilek is good, but he's not as good as he used to be. And Klee is really outdated, unfortunately.
So heavy.
I used to love Klee. I like one of the first characters I ever got was Klee, and she was fun. But like nowadays, unless you have her at, I think it was C4. Unless you have this one. Unless you have this talent right here. Or like Constellation. Klee unfortunately doesn't really help you that much. And that's really a shame, because like she used to be really, really fun. But yeah, as I said, not many pyro characters. We did have every other like class so far. Especially like Hydra. Like we had 3 Hydra characters. 4 Hydra characters in the past like a year. And a few like Electro, some Cryo, some Geo. Like a few, we had like 3 Geos in a row, which was pretty cool. But yeah. Looking forward to actually playing with somebody new for Pyro. Because I probably will pull for Scaramouche, but I'm really looking forward to Dea more than him, really. I'll just pull Scaramouche just because, I don't know, everybody probably will, since he's kinda the new flying master, I guess. Pretty much like he's gonna replace Kazuha for most people, if they don't have him. Because like Kazuha probably still gonna be better, I think, personally. Just because Kazuha at least is like broken gameplays wise as well as having like utility. And I think that's a bit more important to at least majority of people. Because to me, I personally don't care about how strong the character is, as long as they're fun to play. If the character is not fun to play, I literally couldn't care less how strong they are. That's why I don't play as Ganyu. Because like, Ganyu is probably the most broken 5-star ever, but I don't play as her. Just because she's not like unfun. She's just not like fun, you know? Because like all you do is just spam your charge shot over and over again. That's why I love Ayato so much, because like Ayato's E is one of the funnest thing ever. Because like making ripples in time and space.
Be still.
I mean, it's always a bonus when the character is broken and fun to play. But usually it's one or the other, really.
Make yourselves at home. Hey,
Teamwork is dreamwork.
At least most of the time. Like, for example, Bennett. Bennett is probably like the god of the game, but you don't play Bennett for fun. Because, like, there's not much fun to be had. All Bennett does is, like, just taps his E and pulls his circle every now and again. And, that's about it. I still love him though. Like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I haven't played Bennett till like fairly recently. I only built my Bennett on like my main account like in the past few days, and I haven't played with him at all before then. And I know it's a blasphemy for some people, but to me he was just kind of like a healer more than anything. Like, I knew he was broken, but I didn't know he was like that broken. Oh, come on, Davalin. That wasn't nice.
There is no escape.
Cascade.
Oh, come on. You... Because, like, believe it or not, I used to love Diluc not for how strong he is, but for how fun he is. And I still do love him for that reason. Because, like, I know Diluc is not strong. I'm not arguing that he is. But he is fun. And that's what I love about him. Because, like, I know a lot of people dislike his, elemental burst. And I don't understand why. But I personally love it, just because of how cool it is.
Be still.
I'm not the biggest fan of the Walling fight. It seems so incredibly tedious to me every single time. Because it takes so much time for him to like go down. And unless you have like a bow characters, you can't really get rid of his shield.
Cascade.
Shine down.
I guess we can do some friendship XP farming. I'll show you how I usually do it on this account. Because, like, I know I showed the better way of doing it, but since I don't really have Inazuma unlocked, the way I do it is just by standing here. And I don't even do it every single day.
Absurd.
I swear. Oh, God damn it.
There is no escape.
I swear I hate these healer shows so much.
Shine down.
Where's the other one? But yeah, so basically that's how I farm XP friendship. I just stand here. And then I just log out. And I log back in again. And I do that about 10 times. Every single time. It helps if you have like fairly decent PC or like phone. To not make it too tedious.
There is no escape.
Cascade.
And I usually aim for like easy commissions as well. Just so it doesn't take ages to complete. Sometimes it also takes a minute for it to actually load. I wouldn't recommend farming it here, honestly, because like this is a tedious way of doing it, because you actually need to fight people. If you don't have time, just get the other one in Inazuma where you need to feed the dog. For like, it takes like 5 minutes, really. That's the easier way of doing it. Otherwise, you might need to wait like a minute or so in this one. That's not ideal. That's not ideal at all.
Illusion shattered.
Be still.
I would only recommend this place if you like below, I don't know, adventure rank 30 or something, where you can still go to Inazuma. Otherwise, this place is exceptionally boring to farm. That's why I don't do it that often. I only do it like maybe once a week or so. Because I'm not like extremely caring about name cards or anything. Like, I don't think I have any on this account in particular. Like, I'm not 100% sure like how much friendship XP I have. So yeah, I have like 9 for Raiden. I have 4 for Nahida, 6 for Sucrose, 7 for Shincho. How much for Aita? And 8 for Aita. So I don't even have like one maxed out. And it takes like ages to get to level 10. Especially if you don't have Teapot yet. Because like Teapot is mostly where you get those Venture XP stuff.
Cascade.
Illusion shattered.
I'm also not the one to like care about Teapot stuff. Like I was never the one to build Teapot furniture. I would always just put like a random one just to make it to 20k so I can get like the maximum amount of coins. But I would never be the one to like actually furnish it. Because I was never into like building your own house type of stuff. It always seemed boring to me. The only time I did it was when I first like unlocked Teapot. And I tried to build like at least somewhat cool looking house. But then I gave up halfway through and just like put like random stuff all over the walls and like on the floor. Like one of the rooms that I had was like just fully stacked with chairs. Like there was nothing but chairs in the entire room. It looked like a mental hospital or something. It was just chairs everywhere. That should tell you how caring I am to stuff like that. Oh, I need sucrose for this one.
My experiment.
There is no escape.
Just when I took out the Bennett, you really need to show up.
Inazuma shines eternal.
I swear. Some of these monsters I didn't consider. Oh yeah, in case you didn't know, you can do this like 10 times a day. It's usually pretty tedious, so I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have a lot of free time. Only do it if you have like abundance of it. Because the way I would usually do it, I would just like put some music and like zone out while doing it. When I actually decide to do it. But it's never a fun thing to do, that's for sure.
There is no escape.
Be still.
It's also a pretty good way of like getting some ores for equipment. Because I think you get almost every single time like one of those blue ores. Or at least a green one. Like a couple of those. It's a pretty decent way if you don't want to farm like the blue rocks. Oh, also, in case you didn't know, like for these blue rocks, you don't actually need to use just like Claymore uses if you have Razor. Because like, if you have Razor,
I'll watch your back.
All you really need to do is just like hold his E, and he just unlocks it for you. Because I think it takes like 3 hits otherwise. It's pretty convenient if you do have him. Pretty sure the same goes for Zhongli. And Zhongli is quicker since you don't actually need to hold his E. On Zhongli you just need to just press it.
I won't hold you back.
That's one of the more reasons to get Zhongli if there wasn't enough already.
I see everything. Sharing my knowledge.
Illusion shattered.
I think I did more than 10. Pretty sure I didn't get anything on that time. I guess I'll do one more just to make sure that I did 10, because I didn't really count. And you probably should, otherwise you might do more than you need. Because you stop getting anything after 10, you don't even get like materials, so you can't really abuse it. The only thing you get is like monster drops. So it's only good if you need like talent materials and you ran out of actual monsters to kill, which is unlikely, but it might happen.
Cascade.
I guess I wasn't done yet. I was pretty sure I did everything, but maybe no. But that's kind of what I do in a day, really. I just farm like daily quests, a few of those, and I think I'd sometimes do like unusual rituals. Not every time though, because they're pretty boring to look for. But the main reason why I do those rituals is because I still don't have the achievement unlocked for this one. Like this one. Still working on getting it. Since you need 50 of them. So I only did like a little bit more than half. And I do like this like card. Pretty cute. I did get the other one, which is this one. Which I kind of like as well. But yeah, Kilicho's name cards are usually pretty cool. I probably will do like a stream where I just go and like hunt achievements at some point. I think that will be quite fun. Because like I want to do on the stream this one. I kind of started it, but I know a lot of people like struggle was actually doing it. So I think it will be my... I think I did this one just from having like Aito and Raiden together. I didn't even try doing it. Just kind of happened by itself. Same with like these. And I haven't even started doing this one. But it might be pretty easy to complete with like Nahida. Oh, I guess I already gave her the package. I kind of forgot. actually only just realized I had some mail. I don't even know what that's for. Pretty sure there shouldn't be any compensation or anything like that. Oh, it's just one of those. I see. So it was something important.
Everybody stand back!
I'm not sure if the commissions reset. I'm pretty sure I did more than 10. But I thought they always reset like midnight. Shouldn't be the time yet. Or maybe I'm just tripping and it wasn't actually 10. Which is possible. And it's already almost 11 for me. I probably should start exploring on this account a little bit more. Because I still like have a lot of chests to unlock. I'm just so exceptionally lazy. I like couldn't be bothered even in the slightest to do it. Just because there's no really like characters that I'm looking too much forward to, so I don't have like a rush of unlocking every single chest. Because I used to do that. I used to like specifically go on every single chest route and like find them and collect them.
Be still.
Like on one of my accounts, I actually have 100% completion everywhere except Sumeru, because I didn't play Sumeru that much. I'm pretty sure that's it. I will soon get also like a weapon for Ayata. I'm planning on getting the black sword for him. And finally getting rid of this level 1 flute that I have on him. Since I don't really have anything better except prototype, but I'm using it on Bennett. I mean, I guess I kinda could put, like, Harbinger and Dawn on him. It probably would be better, actually, now that I think about it. I'll probably do that, actually, now that I think about it. Might just put it, like, on Refinement 5. Harbinger Dawn is one of the only weapons that, like, on 3 stars, along with, like, White Tussle, that's actually good. Because a lot of these are, like, exceptionally weak. They're not even, like, worth doing anything for. Because I'm pretty sure, like, when it comes to weapons, it's not a single one, except like 2 maybe? Like, bow-wise, there's not a single one good. Like this one, it does have crit rate as a main stat, but like, the skill is pretty mediocre. This one is okay, for like Zhongli and stuff. All the other ones, though, are not that great, really. Like, this one is fine. Actually, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers is one of the best catalysts, pretty much. Because, like, at the highest level, it gives you, like, 48% attack. And you just use it on somebody like Sucrose to boost your actual damage dealer. But everything else is not that great. And I don't even have, like, White Tassel to show you. Which is, like, actually good weapon for 3-star. Every other one is pretty much trash. Although there is one, like, black sword, where you get, like, 1. And it's also a 3-star. I don't think I have it on this account yet, but you're getting, like, leeway. And I think it's, like, the only weapon that you can get in a game that you can get only 1. And you don't... I don't think you can get more. So, it's the only weapon where you can refine it. Because you can get it anywhere. So, that's kind of cool. Not many people actually know about it. And I think this also like was like one 4-star weapon at some point, where you could get it only by like playing on PlayStation or something. It's not like Alloy one, but the other one. I forgot what it was. It was like a sword.
There is no escape.
Be still.
Alright.
Everyone hold hands.
Wait, I need to work really on my weapons, because like I still don't use any of them, except like I have this one, but I still haven't upgraded at all. The only one that I did upgrade was for Nahida, the Within, for obvious reason, because it's broken. Because sometimes it gives you like 240 elemental mastery, and it's pretty good on her. But yeah, I really need to work on them. Because like Xingqiu is still using like Dull Blade, and that's because I don't really know what to put on him, since I don't really have anything for him. I'm thinking of putting this, I guess. Because like I don't really have anything else for him. Every other weapon is not good on him. And unfortunately I don't have Sacrificial Sword, so he's kind of naked. At least for now. Like, I'm the most abandoned in Catalysts. Like, I have plenty to choose from. Like, I got these two from basically slacking off and not logging into the game at some point for like more than 2 weeks. So you get that like returning event. And if you don't like play on some account, you can pretty much just farm these like prototypes every month, just by logging in once and like doing the commissions for a week. Just get the prototype, which is probably more often than you would get it from weekly bosses anyway. But my weapon choices are pretty shabby on this account. Like, I was lucky enough to actually was high enough level to get this from Radiant Shogun, since I still can get catch. But yeah. I was actually thinking of building Alloy, just for fun. Because I know that you can't get her anymore. And I do have like decent amount of bows to put on her. Because like, I don't think you can get her anymore. I'm pretty sure she's already expired. And she does help you with like this stuff, collecting meat. So I was thinking of like just doing like a hunting with her. Just collect like 9,000 meat or something with her. That would be fun. I probably won't ever build her just because she's not good. But it's kind of cool having her, I guess. The only thing that I didn't like about the promotional event with Alloy was the fact that you couldn't get your weapon unless you played on PlayStation 5, I think, or was it 4? It was one of those. And that kind of made me feel a little bit, I don't know, kind of on the fence about it. Because it kind of forced people to actually either get PS5 or don't have a signature weapon for the character. And if you don't own a console, that's pretty scummy, honestly. At least you could get a character, because they could have made it like you can get a character at all. Not that the character is good, but at least you could get her.
Shine down! Teamwork is strength!
Cascade.
Oh yeah, I forgot to pick up the Abyss stuff. I probably should start thinking about actually trying to go for higher floors on here. Because I still kinda only did till floor 5. Which is not bad considering I only have level 40 characters. But I definitely could do better. If I tried. Could probably complete till at least floor 8. Maybe even till floor 9 on like 1 star. If I actually gave it some effort into doing it. I probably should start doing like weekly commissions as well. So I didn't really do it. Yeah, I should cook like 20 dishes. Alright, let's see what we can get. Let's see what we can cook. I probably just... No, I don't have eggs. I usually just make eggs because you never have too many. And it's relatively easy to get more. I guess I'll just cook this fish, probably, since I have plenty. And I don't really have that much ingredient. I might buy actually.
Sure, I've forgotten something.
I don't really know.
Not to worry.
They're not that expensive. Yeah, I guess I have plenty actually. Now that I look at it. I don't know if you guys do this, but like, I never actually used this function. I probably should, but like, I never actually cared that much. Like, I know that it's useful probably, but I never just cared enough to do it. And I think you get achievements from them as well, if I'm not wrong. Which I could be. I'm pretty sure if you like refine certain amount of them, you get like a big achievement from them. And you also get achievement for like cooking specific amount of dishes. I think. It's one of those. Like culinary stuff. Yeah, this one. So you need like 40. Yeah, I think it's 40 overall. It's usually pretty easy to get. Oh, hey Timmy. Hope you're doing okay. I did a little bit of a late stream today. Just kind of was hanging out for the past 3 hours. I hope you're doing okay. I know you came by the last time, but I didn't really see you after that. Probably was too busy.
Ad Astra Abyss.
I know you're in America, so it's probably like only like 3 o'clock for you, right? Somewhere around that ballpark.
Which should I choose? Come take a look. There will definitely be something that can...
Let's see if we can do anything else just to end stream with a bang. Because it's kind of getting late. See, something fun to do. I guess let's fight this giant rock. And then I'll probably call it a day for today. Since I do need to go to bed at some point. Oh, that's cool. I never played paintball. I heard it's kind of fun. I would like to try it at some point. It's just in England we don't really do that. Or at least I don't know any places that does it. I always find it kind of fun. Just to like... I assume you're talking about like the shooting one. One where you like shoot each other with paint.
Let's take shelter for the time being.
Unless it's something else,
Don't worry.
which
One of my people will be
I'm
here
not
when
aware
Umbrellas
of. In
momentarily.
which case, I'm not 100% sure. Because like paintball to me is a shooting game.
Ayaka was always scared of thunder as a child.
Oh, I guess yeah, it is.
Until one day, Mother told her that the sound of thunder is the voice of the almighty Shogun. After that, she would start focusing intensely every time she heard the sound of thunder. As if, by concentrating hard enough, she'd be able to hear exactly what Her Excellency was saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Opportunities to bask in the sunlight like this are few and far.
if I ever get a chance, it would be pretty fun to play, I assume.
Kamisato Ari. Suiyu, be still.
Because paintball is probably really demanding physically, but it's probably exceptionally fun when you like headshot someone.
Let's light it up!
Make yourselves at home. Everyone hold hands.
Everybody stand back!
But the plan was watertight.
Shine down! Now you shall perish! There is no escape!
Grow, grow, grow.
Why do they never miss?
Cascade.
The minute's earlier. The Temple of Wisdom.
Let's light it up!
I'm feeling a little washed out.
Hey,
There is no escape! Let's light it up! I'm going in!
Alright. I guess that should be a pretty good spot to end for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It was really fun today. We had some serious talk, we had some laughs, we had some interesting interactions. I'll probably actually stream tomorrow again. Most likely the same time. So about 8 PM GMT. And I'll probably stream around that time during like Monday till Friday. I think if I have time. So it should be around that time. It might be a little bit earlier or a tiny bit later depending on like when I get back home. But on weekends I probably will do it a little bit earlier and for a little bit longer. Just because I'm gonna have more time obviously. But yeah, if you guys ever feel like just tuning in and hanging out with me, I would be more than happy to. And feel free to ask me anything, really. We can just have good chat, or you can just listen to me rambling, really, and talking about whatever I kind of feel like. But yeah, it was really fun. I hope you enjoyed, really. And if you have any suggestions for the future streams, like any ideas or any specific stuff you want me to do, make sure to let me know. And I'll have you have a good evening, day, or even morning. Not sure what time zone you are from, but yeah. Anyway, I'll see you later, guys. Bye-bye.